What's something people don't know about cursed video games? They might seem like harmless fun, but there's a dark side to them that most people are unaware of. These games can be gateways to something far more sinister, something that can reach out and touch you in the real world. They might just take you to. Imagine playing a game that feels so real. It blurs the line between the virtual world and reality. You might think it's just your imagination, but what if it's not? What if the game is actually alive, watching you, waiting for the right moment to pull you in? Late one night, Danny found Nightmare's End on a hidden forum. It was buried deep within the dark web, a place where only the most curious and daring would venture. Danny was one of those people, always looking for the next big thrill, the next game that would push the boundaries of his reality. No reviews, no ratings, just mystery. The website was eerily silent, devoid of any comments or feedback. It was as if the game was a well-kept secret, known only to a select few. This only fueled Danny's curiosity. He had to know what made this game so special, so hidden. He downloaded it, eager for a new challenge. The anticipation was palpable as he watched the progress bar inch forward. Little did he know, this was the beginning of a journey that would change his life forever. But this game was no ordinary thrill. From the moment he launched it, there was something off, something unsettling. The graphics were dark and foreboding, the music a haunting melody that sent chills down his spine. As Danny played, his room grew colder. The screen flickered. It was as if the game was affecting his surroundings, drawing him deeper into its dark narrative. He could feel the temperature drop, see his breath misting in the air, and he felt watched. It was an eerie sensation, like eyes were on him, scrutinizing his every move. He glanced over his shoulder, but there was nothing there, just the oppressive darkness of his room. He brushed it off as his imagination. Big mistake. He convinced himself it was just the game's atmosphere getting to him. After all, it was designed to be scary, but deep down he knew something was wrong. The game led him through a dark mansion, each step more real, more terrifying. The corridors seemed endless, filled with shadows that moved just out of sight. The sound of his footsteps echoed, amplifying the sense of isolation and dread. Then, a ghostly figure named Lucas appeared. He was a spectral presence, barely visible in the dim light. His eyes were hollow, his expression one of eternal sorrow. A boy who vanished years ago. The realization hit Danny like a punch to the gut. He had heard stories about Lucas, a boy who had disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Now here he was, a ghost trapped within the game. Lucas begged for help, leading Danny deeper into the nightmare. His voice was a whisper, barely audible over the game's eerie soundtrack. "Help me!" he pleaded, his eyes filled with desperation. With every level, the whispers grew louder. The shadows twisted. It was as if the game was alive, feeding off Danny's fear. The deeper he went, the more intense the experience became. The whispers were no longer just background noise, they were voices calling out to him, taunting him, and then the final level. The atmosphere was suffocating, the darkness almost tangible. Danny could feel his heart pounding in his chest, his palms sweaty as he gripped the mouse. He knew this was it, the climax of the game. The screen went black. For a moment there was nothing but silence. Then a message appeared, glowing ominously on the dark screen. "Find me or suffer the same fate." The word sent a shiver down Danny's spine. It was a challenge, a threat. He knew he had to find Lucas, to free him from whatever dark force held him captive. Danny felt an icy grip on his shoulder. It was cold, almost painfully so. He spun around, expecting to see someone, something. He spun around. Nothing. The room was empty, but the feeling of being watched was stronger than ever. He could feel eyes on him, even though he couldn't see them. Desperate, he tried to shut down the computer. Too late. The game had him in its grip, and it wasn't letting go. The screen flickered, the whispers grew louder, and the darkness seemed to close in around him. Lucas materialized, his eyes full of sorrow. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "I didn't mean for this to happen." With a scream, Danny was pulled into darkness. It was a sensation unlike anything he had ever felt, a cold, suffocating void that swallowed him whole. By morning he was gone. His room was empty, his bed unmade. It was as if he had vanished into thin air, leaving no trace behind. Only his running computer remained, a chilling legend of a game that took a boy forever. The screen still displayed the game's final message, a haunting reminder of the night Danny disappeared. The game was still running, waiting for its next victim.